All right, we're going to discuss the difference of what a market qualified lead is and what a sales qualified lead is. First, to have an actual definition of what a market qualified lead is. What's the MLQ to you? What are the actions and what are the interests that need to happen in order for an MLQ to appear? A lot of times, if you have a physical store, it's showing up at the store, right? If they're in your store, they're a market qualified lead, right? If you're on your website, and they're looking at your products, they could potentially be a market qualified lead. If they fill out a form, and in that form, there's certain criteria inside of that form that states that they either have some sort of either intent or no ability, the ability to make a purchase, not intent, but the ability to make a purchase. That's a market qualified lead. So you have to, one, develop what is a market qualified lead for you and your company, and then what's the definition of a market qualified lead that would happen inside of your business. And then after you have a market qualified lead, then you have a sales qualified lead. And a sales qualified lead is intent. What is their intent to actually buy and purchase? There's one definition that I really like. And so sales teams often use this framework called BANT. So BANT is budget, authority, need, and timing. So think of it this way. This individual who's a sales qualified lead is an individual who has the money, right? The authority, he is the person that's going to buy, the need, and the time. He's going to get this right now. He needs it and he needs to buy it right now. That is a sales qualified lead. So think of it this way: is market qualified lead is someone who walks in the store. A sales qualified lead is someone who is at the aisle or is requesting help from somebody, right? In some cases, it's booking a call. When a call is booked on your site, they are now considered a sales qualified lead when they're talking to the salesperson. Or, potentially it could be where your setter talks with the market qualified lead and your setter approves or identifies that that person is a sales qualified lead. Now, there's a bridge between the two, right? So one, how do you get the market qualified lead, and what's the cost to get a market qualified lead? And how do you get a sales qualified lead, and what's the cost to get a sales qualified lead? And if you're booking calls, what's the cost to book a call? And those are numbers that you have to develop entire systems. So like, how do you convert MQL from an SQL? How do you convert a market qualified lead to a sales qualified lead? And what are the steps that need to happen? Again, every business is very different. Again, if you're on your website and they put in the cart and they add to cart, but they don't purchase, right? And how do we get them to move to the next step? What is it that they need to do? If they submit an application and they've determined that they have the right person to make a purchase, like, they have the money, they're in time, they need to book a call to be able to do it. So what is it we need to take to move that person to book a phone call? And when they book a call, how do we get that person, as SQL? And then how do we get that person to close as a customer? And so that is the big difference between an MQL and SQL. It's kind of a short video. It doesn't take a whole lot. I think what the real actual meat of all of this is the conversion. How do you convert these individuals? And what does that process look like? And what does the flows look like? Like, how many emails are you sending them, right, when they become a market qualified lead, right? How do you identify the market qualified lead? Before, when they're just a normal lead, right? Maybe they put their information in and they give you some information. And then how do you convert that person to a market qualified lead? What are some identifiers that they have? How many times they visit the website? How many times they open up the emails? How many times, are they downloading some piece of software? Like, what is it that they're doing that is what you want to trigger that MQL? And then how do you get them to move to the next step? So if they download a trial of your software, how do we get that conversion trial, to be a paid member, a paid trial? So what is it that that person has to go through in order for that person to determine, I need this piece of software, or I need whatever XY service that you have? And that's the fun part of this, because every business is a little bit different, because every business is so unique and the products are so unique and its customers are so unique. So unique in a sense where how you do it is a little bit different, but the framework is always similar. And when I mean framework, I mean what sort of touches that need to happen with that individual in order for that person to move to the next step. And they move to the next step as a sales qualified lead. And then as a sales qualified lead, how do we get that person to move to an actual buyer? What does that look like? And then what's that conversion look like? Do they need to jump on a phone call with you? Do they need to see a demo maybe? Maybe it's a pricing issue that need to identify. Like, what is it that moves them to the next step and moving the needle going forward? So anyways, hope that helps. I just want to do a quick short video to jump on and share that with you. It's something that I'm working on right now with a client of mine, is identifying key components, what makes a market qualified lead and a sales qualified lead. And I figured I'd share this with you right now. Anyways, if you like this, please like, subscribe, and please comment too. If you have questions on this stuff, let me know. I'd love to hear what your questions are and what you're dealing with, and then how I could help. Anyways, we'll talk to you later.